Welcome back, everybody. In the last episode, we went around the city of Wuhan and explored its ins and outs, from the local flavors to the most historically significant and beloved landmarks. But the reason I made my way to this city on a cold and misty week in the middle of March is for the most famous annual Sakura in China. That's right, we most often think of sakuras or cherry blossoms as something only Tokyo or Osaka has to offer. But few of us know that in Wuhan, the annual cherry blossom attracts millions of people from all over the country. In this episode, I will visit the two most famous and beautiful annual cherry blossoms in the country. One where I will try and blend in with the students on the campus of Wuhan University to capture the cherry blossom that is not only visually stunning, but with the university having served as a wartime command center for the invading Japanese, a place that is also full of modern Chinese history. I'll then make my way to East Lake, one of the most impressive natural lakes in a major Chinese city, and take a boat on my way to its beautiful cherry blossom garden. Can't wait. Let's get this journey started. Wuhan University is one of the oldest universities in China, founded in 1893 during what would become the waning years of the last dynasty in Chinese history, the Qing dynasty. Today, it is regarded as not only one of the best higher education institutions in China, a place of aspiration for many young students all over the country, but also along with Xiamen University as having one of the most beautiful campuses. As I walk around the campus, I am constantly reminded by the students and teachers going from one class to the next that first, I am a visitor, and second, my college days are far, far behind me. You see, to get a ticket into campus is difficult to begin with because Chinese universities, unlike their American counterparts, are not open to the public. What with the pandemic of the last few years, this is the first year of the return to normalcy, whereupon Wuhan University again reopens its doors to outside visitors for a brief 2-week period during the annual cherry blossom. I was fortunate to snag one of the free tickets that instantly sell out as soon as they're released every evening at 8 p.m. And before we get started, I had to grab a quick dinner with the students at one of the school cafeterias that is actually open to the visiting public. A very simple dinner, not too different from what I used to have in college. The annual Wuhan University cherry blossom lasts about 2 weeks on average, from the very first flowers to full bloom. And I was fortunate to time the trip and arrive during the very peak. Strolling around this beautiful campus, I immediately noticed very distinctively Chinese roofing styles on its academic buildings. It turns out many of the original campus buildings were designed by an American architect named F.H. Kales, a man educated at MIT whose building designs here managed to combine traditional Chinese roof elements with the more rigorous and solemn architectural body designs you'd find on many American university campuses. Which brings us to the highlight of this campus, the cherry blossom Boulevard that is lined with cherry trees in full bloom neatly next to one of the oldest buildings here. This very building has plenty of history as well. In late 1937, after the Japanese had captured Shanghai, the military turned its gaze toward interior China and along the Yangtze River, its army traced its way to eventually begin an invasion and occupation of the city of Wuhan. At the time, this building was newly constructed as an all-boys dormitory. However, the Japanese assumed control of the campus and turned it into a wartime command center, and this building was recommissioned into a sick ward for its injured soldiers. This is why there are cherry trees here on campus, a tree not usually found or revered in other parts of China, because the Japanese command flew in cherry trees from native Japan to be planted here, so the injured soldiers can gaze out the window, look at the familiar cherry trees, and be reminded of home. After the Japanese surrendered in 1945, the campus was returned to Wuhan University. And at this very spot I stand, there remained 29 cherry trees planted by the defeated Japanese army. The faculty debated what to do with them. Do we cut the trees down, burn them, or do we keep them? And eventually, the majority of the faculty voted to keep the trees, for Mother Nature has nothing to do with the cruelty of war to deserve this hatred. And when Japan and China reestablished diplomatic relations in the 1970s, a continuous stream of cherry trees were donated by the Japanese government to this campus, resulting in more than 1,000 cherry trees that bloom annually here in Wuhan University. Today, this nearly 100-year-old building serves as the dormitory for the now co-ed PhD students on campus, who can now look out the window while writing their dissertations at the beautiful cherry flowers. As I depart this mesmerizing building in the evening, I feel as if I am a student again, but knowing that, just like the history I've just described, is also a part of the past, never to return. The next day, I come to East Lake, a famous natural lake nestled to the east side of the city. It is one of the largest natural lakes within a Chinese city, and open all year round. You'll find visitors cycling, walking, running, and boating here. I take a tranquil boat ride on this misty spring day to the cherry blossom garden, sailing on the very same waters that many poets and artists of dynasties past once traversed. The garden itself has taken on a life of its own, and nowadays attracts tens of thousands of visitors every single day during the brief 2-week Sakura Cherry Blossom Festival. It is also a completely different vibe from that of Wuhan University. Whereas one is serene and academic, this one feels more developed and commercial. But nonetheless, the cherry trees and flowers are beautiful, and especially characteristic amidst the sea of flowers is a Japanese-style tower that lights up beautifully in the evening. You'll find this place to be converted into what is essentially a botanical garden of not only the highlight sakura, but other varieties of spring flowers in full bloom. And when you combine all this with idyllic ponds and traditional style buildings, the entire experience is well worth braving the crowd. Did you enjoy this episode on the beautiful Sakura in Wuhan? I sure hope you did, and a like and subscribe will help me a lot. In the next episode, we're going to switch gears a little bit and take you inside a place most Westerners have never heard of or been inside. This is a Chinese bathhouse, entertainment complex, massage center, all rolled into one. And it's a totally modern construct, so there won't be any history lessons. But totally fun to show you how our friends in the Far East unwind on a weekend, and some end up not leaving for days. I'll see you there.